And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week.
You know summer is over and fall is here when the kids are back in school, the days are much shorter, little Christmas in the air at night, and high school football is underway. So this weekend was kickoff weekend, and all of us enjoyed some great moments last night and look forward to a great season ahead. This week, of course, the news was dominated, some would say, by the Trump arrest in Georgia, although I think there was some other big news this week. But look, let's take a quick glance at what actually went on in Georgia, where a district attorney there, essentially somebody that would run a county in Pennsylvania, campaigned on getting Donald Trump and is now fundraising on the back of her indictment of Donald Trump there. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. If justice is blind, it's only because she's got dollar bills over her eyes from her fundraising machine. And, you know, look, they had to have a mugshot. Seriously, a man who's had millions of pictures taken of him, probably the most recognizable face on the planet. They have to take a mugshot. Of course, that's working to his benefit. I've already gotten ads for Trump t-shirts with the mugshot on them. You'll see more. But they also had to have cash bail. The Democrats have been railing for years against cash bail, but they had to do it in Trump's case. This is the hypocrisy of what's before us right now and the tragedy of a dual criminal justice system, one for one set of folks and another for the other. That ought to be frightening to every American, regardless of their political persuasion. But in my judgment, the really big political news this week was the first Republican debate of 2024. You know, 8 years ago, I was privileged, or some would say maybe not so privileged, to be at every single Republican debate through the primary season. And they're fascinating to watch from behind the scenes, but for me, equally fascinating to watch on the big screen as I did the other night. And folks always want to know who were the winners, who were the losers, etc. And I think ultimately the big winners were Republican primary voters who got to see for the first time some of these candidates up close and personal, get a sense of who they are, how prepared they might be to be president, and their views on the issues. And folks constantly ask me who won, who lost. These are not truly debates in the sense that you would have Oxford-style debates. Rather, they're opportunities for people to make short media presentations to the American people. And Ron DeSantis, in my judgment, had a very good night. His campaign has been flailing recently. They've had a lot of internal problems. He hasn't been moving up in the polls, but he did what he needed to do the other night. He started strong and, in my judgment, got stronger as the evening progressed. Nikki Haley, in my view, really distinguished herself on a couple of levels, but especially when she went after Vivek Ramaswamy on foreign policy, saying we need somebody who has foreign policy experience, and you have none. One of the disappointments to me was Tim Scott, a man who I really admire and think will be, in the future, a great candidate, but he never really got on track. In my view, it's largely because he's untested on that stage, and you've got to know how to manage the clock and how to insert yourself into the debate. If you simply wait for your turn, it's probably not going to come. He had a very strong close, something he was prepared for, but throughout much of the debate, he never really got the opportunity to get on track. Mike Pence did pretty well. A lot of folks still pan the fact that he's, yesterday's news, et cetera, but he looked and sounded presidential. And when the question came up, how many people agreed with what he did on January 6th? Every hand in the room except one went up, and many praised him for what he did. A lot of folks think that Vivek Ramaswamy had a good night. I don't. I think that the worst moment of the night was when he looked at his competitors on that stage and said, I'm the only one up here who isn't bought and paid for. That doesn't work very well, and it came off, in my view, as snarky and unlikable. And ultimately, it's the who do you want to have a beer with test that prevails. But every single one of those candidates is light years ahead of Joe Biden, and the Republicans are truly blessed to have not only the folks in that room, but Donald J. Trump, who wasn't there that night, who probably won't be at the one at the Reagan Library in Simi Valley in a month, but will be, we're told, at the one in Alabama in late October. So there's plenty more to come. We're just seeing the first view, and I think the field will begin to thin out a little bit as we move into the next debate. The first major step on the road to 2024 has been taken. There were lots of exciting moments, and there are lots yet to come. And with one weekend left before summer unofficially goes, I hope that everyone has an opportunity to enjoy the beach or the mountains or wherever you are, because for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.